filmed without permission? In the UAE, that mistake can cost you so much. An Abu Dhabi court has ordered a man to pay 30,000 dirhams after he filmed a woman without her consent. The criminal court first fined him 10,000 dirhams for violating her privacy. Later, the woman filed a civil case, saying the incident harmed her reputation, caused psychological pain, and affected her dignity. The court agreed with her and ordered the man to pay 20,000 dirhams as compensation, plus legal costs. Since the criminal case was already proven, the court said the man was fully responsible for the damage he caused. So remember, if you film someone without informing them, you can land in serious trouble. Always respect other people's privacy and behave like a responsible and well-mannered person. Bought a used car in the UAE and it broke down in just 1 week? You paid 10,000 dirhams, then spent another 10,000 dirhams on repairs. So can you take legal action? This question is being asked by a UAE resident who bought a used car from another person. After just 1 week, the car stopped working. Mechanics later confirmed the car had serious engine problems that existed before the sale. The buyer believes the seller did not tell the truth about the car's condition. Under UAE law, a seller must clearly disclose any defects in a product before selling it. If a serious defect existed before the sale and was not mentioned, the buyer has legal rights. The law allows the buyer to return the car or claim compensation for damages. UAE consumer law also strictly prohibits misleading descriptions or advertisements, especially for used products. The condition of a used item must be clearly stated in the agreement or invoice. If the seller failed to do this, the buyer can file a complaint with the Ministry of Economy or the local Consumer Protection Authority. In serious cases, the seller may face a fine of up to 100,000 dirhams. However, if the car came with a warranty, claims must be made under that warranty. So yes, if defects were hidden, UAE law protects the buyer. Getting divorced in the UAE and worried about your visa? Here's an important update every married woman in the UAE should know. Many women living in the UAE are sponsored by their husbands. But one big question comes up during divorce. What happens to the wife's residence visa? And can the husband be forced to keep sponsoring it? According to UAE law, if a woman is living in the country on her husband's sponsorship and the divorce is finalized, the husband does not continue sponsoring her residency visa. However, there is important relief. The law allows a divorced woman to apply for a 1-year extension of her UAE residency visa. This extension starts from the official date of divorce. Also, under UAE law, a court cannot force a former husband to sponsor his ex-wife's visa after divorce. The husband may continue sponsoring the children's visas, but sponsoring the ex-wife is not legally required. For matters related to children, alimony, or custody, women are advised to consult a legal expert or contact the General Directorate of Residency and Foreigners Affairs for guidance. Here's some positive news from the UAE about children's online safety. The UAE has introduced a new federal law that makes digital platforms responsible for protecting children online. The law applies to anyone under the age of 18 and aims to reduce online risks while allowing kids to enjoy the internet safely. Under this law, platforms must offer safer default settings, clear age-appropriate content, and strong protection for children's data. Age verification and parental involvement may increase, but experts say this will give parents more confidence and peace of mind. Importantly, the law shifts responsibility to the platforms themselves. They must actively monitor harmful content, prevent bullying, and limit bad language or content that can harm young minds. The UAE cabinet will also introduce a platform classification system, setting age limits and safety rules based on the type of content. Experts say this is a big step towards creating safer digital spaces for children, while supporting parents and encouraging responsible technology use. The United Arab Emirates has announced $2 million in support to help improve healthcare services for people affected by the conflict in Sudan. This support will be provided through a partnership between the UAE Aid Agency and International Medical Corps from the UK. The goal is to help families who are suffering due to violence, displacement, and lack of medical care. The project will send mobile health and nutrition teams to reach people in need. These teams will provide medical checkups, care for mothers and children, vaccinations, nutrition support, and disease prevention services. The aid will also include clean water, essential medicines, hygiene kits, and basic household items for displaced families, especially women and children. This initiative is part of the UAE's continued humanitarian efforts, with over $784 million already spent to support Sudan since the conflict began. A powerful reminder that helping others can save lives.
Here's some feel-good news from Dubai, and it's all about dogs. Have you ever heard of a chief dog officer? Well, Dubai has one now. In Jumeirah Lake Towers, where pet owners are growing in number, the community recently held a fun competition to choose a chief dog officer, or CDO. The winning pup will proudly hold this title for one whole year. Dogs are already a big part of daily life in JLT, from morning walks to dog parks and pet-friendly cafes. The CDO's role is to welcome new dogs and pet parents, encourage friendly and responsible behavior, and promote clean and shared community spaces. The Chief Dog Officer will also take part in community events and support local pet businesses. This creative idea shows how pet-friendly communities are growing across the UAE, making life better not just for people, but for their four-legged friends too. Abu Dhabi has just made history. RM Sotheby's held its first ever supercar auction, Abu Dhabi. And it became the biggest collector car auction in Middle East history, raising over 312 million dirhams. The star of the night was a stunning 1994 McLaren F1, selling for an unbelievable $25.3 million. This rare machine is one of only 64 ever built and was once owned by the Brunei royal family. It now features a high downforce kit, LM spec interior, and a fresh ibis white finish. But the auction didn't stop there. For the first time ever, a Formula One car was sold before it even raced. McLaren offered its upcoming 2026 MCL 40AF1 car, with the buyer choosing between an Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris chassis, plus the chance to watch it race in next year's Formula One season. It sold for $11.48 million, shocking bidders worldwide. More future race cars followed, including the 2027 McLaren WEC hypercar, selling for $7.59 million, and a 2026 IndyCar DW12 at over $848,000, all bundled with VIP access, factory visits, and behind-the-scenes privileges. Among the top 10 sales were legendary names like the Pagani Zonda Riviera, Ferrari F40, LaFerrari, Monza SP2, Porsche 918 Spider, and more. This auction wasn't just a sale, it was a milestone for the automotive world and a proud moment for the UAE. The UAE has announced strict penalties, up to 5,000 dirhams per month, for businesses that fail to comply with the country's new electronic invoicing system ahead of its rollout in July 2026. Under this system, invoices must be created and transmitted electronically in a structured format like XML, replacing traditional paper in PDF documents. According to the new cabinet decision, companies that delay implementing e-invoicing or fail to appoint an accredited service provider will face 5,000 dirhams fines for every month of delay. Not issuing or transmitting invoices or credit notes on time can cost 100 dirhams per document, capped at 5,000 dirhams a month. But the most serious penalties come from poor incident management, with 1,000 dirham fines per day for failing to report system failures or update registered business data. Experts say this marks a major shift. E-invoicing is now a regulated operating model in the UAE, pushing companies to invest in systems readiness, stronger controls, and rapid reporting processes to avoid costly compliance risks. A 2-month-old Pakistani baby girl named Ira has made an incredible recovery in Abu Dhabi after battling a rare immune disorder. When she arrived, she was critically ill, fighting 3 severe infections, dependent on blood pressure medications, and showing signs of organ stress. Doctors soon discovered she was born without the ability to fight infections, a condition that had tragically claimed her sister's life earlier. With no time to waste, specialists at Yas Clinic, Khalifa City, found that her father was a perfect bone marrow match. But Era was too weak for the usual chemotherapy. In a rare and high-risk decision, doctors performed an urgent transplant using only her father's healthy cells. 2 months later, Era is breathing on her own, feeding well, and almost ready to go home. Her recovery highlights the power of early diagnosis and expert coordinated medical care. Deadly floods and landslides have devastated Sri Lanka after days of relentless heavy rainfall, and the UAE has launched an urgent humanitarian mission to help. Coordinated by the Joint Operations Command, the UAE Aid Agency, and the Emirates Red Crescent, this rapid response aims to bring immediate relief to thousands of affected families. Teams from Abu Dhabi Civil Defense are now on the ground in the hardest-hit regions, carrying out critical search and rescue operations. Many areas are difficult to access, but rescuers are working tirelessly to locate survivors and support communities in distress. The scale of the disaster is heartbreaking. At least 355 lives have been lost. More than 366 people are still missing, and over 1 million people have been affected. Entire neighborhoods have been flooded. Daily life has come to a standstill, and hundreds of homes have been partially or completely destroyed. To support these communities, the UAE is delivering essential food, clean water, medicine, clothing, and emergency shelter materials. This swift action reflects the UAE's long-standing humanitarian approach, stepping in quickly to help vulnerable populations wherever they are in the world. And this is just the beginning. Humanitarian supplies and shelter materials will continue to be sent in the coming days as the UAE works to ease suffering, accelerate recovery, and help rebuild stability in the affected regions of Sri Lanka. In moments like these, international solidarity makes all the difference, and the UAE's support is offering hope to thousands of families trying to recover from this tragedy.
Beneath the surface of the Arabian Gulf, a quiet revolution is unfolding, led not by politicians or corporations, but by 3 Emirati women, bonded by a single cause, to protect the ocean. They are known as the Blue Trio, a name that reflects not only their love for the deep, but their dedication to a cause greater than themselves. Marwa Al-Mahmoud, Sheikha Al-Moudi, Aisha Al-Hossani. 3 names, 1 mission. Together, they represent a new wave of environmental leadership, nurtured in the United Arab Emirates and fueled by a profound sense of purpose. For Aisha, the journey began with her father, a free diver, a storyteller, a man who shared the mysteries of the ocean with his children long before they ever put on a wetsuit.
Since childhood, the sea was part of our lives. For me, diving is not just a skill, it's part of who I am.
It was in a Sharjah diving center where destiny united them. The 3 trained together, learned together, and now dive together. Marwa's connection runs deeper than the surface. With 13 years in marine science, she's seen both beauty and fragility.
The moment we released fish we helped breed, I realized this is what it means when science meets emotion. That moment changed me.
Sheikha was drawn in by wonder. The creatures of the sea, their behavior, their design, became her greatest teachers.
Every dive is a lesson, one you can't learn from a book or a screen.
This is not just a personal journey. It's a national one. The United Arab Emirates, a nation known for its vision, leadership, and innovation, has long recognized the power of education, conservation, and female empowerment. Through marine protected areas, licensed diving centers, and nationwide environmental campaigns, the UAE makes it possible for women like these to learn exacted. Week after week, the Blue Trio dives not just for exploration, but for impact. They remove waste, rescue sea life, and give back to the ocean with every breath they take underwater.
Every dive is a new chance to protect, to learn, and to give.
The ocean is not always calm. Visibility can be poor. The unknown can be intimidating. But these women turned fear into strength through persistence, training, and trust.
Over time, the fear becomes part of the learning. Not a reason to stop, but a reason to continue.
Today, the Blue Trio uses social media not for fame, but for education. They inspire the next generation of Emiratis, especially women, to dive deeper, not just into water, but into purpose. From the shores of Sharjah to the depths of the sea, the Blue Trio reminds us that true strength lies in service, in knowledge, and in unity. And in the UAE, a nation that champions innovation, women, and nature, that strength finds a home. This isn't just a diving story, it's a national story. It's a human story, and it's only just beginning. If this story inspired you, join the journey. Tap that like button to support environmental heroes. Click subscribe to explore more stories that matter. And share this video because the ocean's voice deserves to be heard by the world. Together we dive deeper. Together we rise stronger. Together we are the UAE. If you park near Al Khail Gate, there's an important update you need to know. Dubai's Parkin has just announced a new paid parking zone that's active 24/7. Yes, even on Sundays and holidays. Let's break down exactly what's changing, how much you'll pay, and what this means for drivers. So, here's what's new. Parkin, Dubai's largest paid parking operator, has launched a fresh paid parking zone called Zone 365N. It's located at Al Khail Gate, which is a busy residential and commercial area. This new zone will be active 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including Sundays, which is different from many other zones in Dubai that stay free on Sundays and public holidays. So if you park there overnight or on weekends, be prepared. Parking is no longer free. Let's talk money. Here's how much you'll pay if you park in Zone 365N. During both peak and off-peak hours, the hourly rates are the same. 1 hour, 4 dirhams. 2 hours, 8 dirhams. 3 hours, 10 dirhams. 4 hours, 12 dirhams. 5 hours, 14 dirhams. 6 hours, 16 dirhams. 7 hours, 18 dirhams. 8 hours, 20 dirhams. 9 hours, 22 dirhams. Full day 24 hours, 30 dirhams. So if you plan to park all day, the flat daily rate is capped at 30 dirhams. Compared to some other areas, these rates are considered mid-range. But what's unique is that they apply 24/7, which means no free hours overnight or on Sundays. Earlier this year, Parkin also launched new zones in Mirdif, but those were free on Sundays and holidays. Another big move was the introduction of variable pricing in April. This means some zones have different rates for peak and off-peak hours. However, for Zone 365N, the rates stay the same day or night. Parkin has also rolled out monthly parking subscriptions in some areas. These allow up to 3 cars under one traffic file, but only one car can use the subscription at a time. So far this year, Parkin has added over 10,000 new parking spaces and reported record revenues, over 273 million dirhams in the first quarter alone. This shows how fast paid parking is expanding in Dubai. So, here's what this means for you. If you live or work around Al Khail Gate, plan for the new paid parking cost, even on Sundays. If you park overnight, remember there's no free window, so pay attention to avoid fines. Check if a monthly subscription is better for you if you park in the same area often, but remember, only one car can be active at a time. And finally, always double-check the zone number, timing, and fees on Parkin's official channels so you don't get surprised. Dubai's parking system is changing fast. More variable pricing, more paid zones, and more digital payments are the new normal. If you found this helpful, hit like, share it with someone who parks at Al Khail Gate, and subscribe for more Dubai updates.